Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the online sessions of Tari Arkam Schools, Gujarat region. First of all, join your hands for dua. Rabbi zidni ilma, my Lord, increase me in knowledge. E mere Rabb, mere ilme, izafa farma. So, class, this is your history lecture, and this is your lecture number 7 of chapter number 2, that is causes and consequences of decline of Mughal Empire. Today, we are going to have a short introduction about this chapter and what we are going to discuss in this chapter. First of all, we are going to discuss about the causes of the decline of Mughal Empire, and then what was the reasons behind these things to the decline of the Mughal Empire. In this chapter, we are going to address the questions such as how far was Aurangzeb responsible for the decline of the empire, and how far did the Mughal Empire weakness from 1707 make decline inevitable. What role did the East India Company play in the decline of the Mughal Empire, and how successful was the British expansion in the subcontinent to 1857? So, internal reason of the decline of the Mughal Empire was the impact of the Aurangzeb policies on the stability of the Mughal Empire, the effectiveness of his successors as ruler, problem of controlling the empire, the rise of the Marathas and the Sixth Empire. External reasons for the decline of the Mughal Empire was also being discussed in this chapter, such as the foreign invasion from Persia and Afghanistan and Marathas as well, the East India Company involvement in the subcontinent, and the British relationships with the later Mughal rulers of Delhi. The British expansion from the 1750 to 1850s in the subcontinent, the annexation of the territories encompassing Pakistan today, the British search for the natural and scientific NW frontier, northwest frontier. So, the British policies toward the tribal territories. So, in this chapter, we are going to discuss all these things, and first of all, we are going to discuss about the Mughal Empire before Aurangzeb. So we have four Mughal rulers before Aurangzeb, and the first one is Babur, the first Mughal emperor. The first Mughals were a ruling family from the Central Asia, and the first Mughal emperor in the India was Zahiruddin Muhammad or Babur, as he is generally known as the Babur. That Babur is a Turkish word and that means lion. So Babur was a Muslim who ruled the Turkestan and was keen to expand his territory. In 1526, he defeated the Emperor of Delhi in the first battle of the Panipat, and then defeated the Indian chiefs and established himself as unchallenged ruler of the northern India. So Babur was born in Fergana, and he was then was so keen to occupy or expand his territories, and he was so keen to do all these things, and he was so brave, and he was so unchallenged person, an unchallenged ruler of the northern India. So at first Zahiruddin Babur entered to India, and then he defeated the Emperor of Delhi in the Battle of Panipat, first Battle of Panipat, and then other Indian chiefs, and then established himself as an ruler, unchallenged ruler of northern India. The next we have the Humayun, a troubled reign. Babur ruled northern India for just 4 years before he died. He was succeeded in 1530 by his son Humayun. Afghan chief Sher Shah Suri defeated Humayun in the battle and took control of many of his territories. Humayun also had to face opposition from his own brothers, and it was not until 1555 AD that he restored his control in the lands that Babur had won, but his success was short lived, and just 1 year he tripped on his on robes on the steps of his library and fell to the death. And the first, when he fought with the Afghan chief Sher Shah Suri in 1555 AD, he fled to. In 1555 AD, he came back and restored his power in the lands that his father was that his father warned. And before this, he fled to Iran to save his life. And as the Mughal ruler and Mughal emperor had a good relationship with Iran, so he welcomed him as a state guest and he stayed there for 15 years. And after the death of Sher Shah Suri, and then his son Islam Shah Suri take over the throne, he came back as he was a good ruler, as he was a good administrator but a cruel ruler. So it was the positive point for Humayun to take over the throne again. So he again take over the throne, but he just succeeded it for and short lived for just a 1 year, and after that he fell from the stairs of his library and fell to the death. So then we have the third is the Akbar. The empire extended. Although he was only 13 years old when he succeeded his father, the next emperor, Akbar extended the Mughal Empire. Further, he was greatly influenced by the Sufi beliefs and in 1581 announced his Deen-e-Ilahi, a new religion containing the elements of both Islam and Hinduism. The religion did not take root to and died out after the Akbar's death. Akbar ruled for almost 15 years, and at his death in 1605, the Mughal Empire was strong and the foundation had been laid for the other emperors to continue to expand the lands under Mughal control. So, on the third, we have the Akbar as the ruler of the Mughal Empire, and at the age of 13, he take over the throne after the death of his father. As we all know that Akbar was equally popular between the Muslims and the Hindus as well, and he was the founder of Sufi beliefs. So in 1581, he introduced a new religion and called that religion is Deen-e-Ilahi. In this religion, he contained both the elements of Islam and the Hinduism and created a new one. But during his reign, the people under his empire was so upset, especially the Muslims were so upset after the announcement of this new religion that was Deen-e-Ilahi. And after the death of Akbar, this religion was also abolished, and he almost ruled for the 15 years and he died in the 1605 AD. And the Mughal Empire was so strong and was and it has a strong foundation laid between the other emperors to continue and expand the other lands and controlled by the Mughals. So the next we have Jahangir and Shah Jahan. The next we have the Jahangir and Shah Jahan. This expansion continued under Akbar's son Jahangir. True, though it was Jahangir who signed a commercial treaty with the British in 1615. He did not realize that the British would eventually overthrow the Mughals. At that time, Akbar's son Jahangir signed an agreement with the Britishers in 1615. But at that time, he didn't know that the Britishers was um so manipulators that they could overthrow the Mughals or throw out the Mughals out of this ruling thing and take over the place of these Mughals. And later on, his son Jahangir's son Khurram took the throne under the name of Shah Jahan. His son Khurram took the throne under the name of Shah Jahan, and he was responsible for building the famous Taj Mahal in the memory of his wife Mumtaz Mahal. So, in the love of his wife, he built a so famous building that was called the Taj Mahal, that is present in the Agra, and it was also called the Mumtaz Mahal. Shah Jahan also tried to extend the empire in campaigns against the Persians and in modern day Uzbekistan. But his wars were costly and interactive. He did, however, defeat the Portuguese after they tried to forcibly convert Muslim girls to Christianity. When we all know that when the Christians, Portuguese, Germans, and Europeans, when they came into the subcontinent, they first of all wanted to the raw material of this country for their heavy production in their country, and to increase the production of his country as well. But on the other hand, they also wanted to convert the people, especially the Muslims, into their own religion, that was Christianity. So on the first, we discussed about the Babur, who was the first Mughal emperor and was unchallenged ruler of the northern India. The next we have the Humayun, the third we have Akbar, and the fourth we have Jahangir, and then his son Shah Jahan, who was responsible for the making of the Taj Mahal for his favorite wife Mumtaz, and was also it is also called Mumtaz Mahal. So this is all for today. You have to read the page number 12 so carefully, and you have to stay at your home. Wash your hands frequently for 20 seconds after 2 or half an hour for to wash invisible or visible dust or germs from your hands. And stay at your home, stay blessed, stay healthy. And thank you so much for taking this lecture. I hope this will be helpful for you guys. And stay blessed, stay healthy. Fi amanillah.